Hi guys, this is Manduk here. I'd like to introduce you to my, new roommate. Um, the troll.
You.
He's decided to join me here for one of my reviews. It's on a comic. I haven't read it yet, but, I know it's got Batman in it, so that must mean it must be awesome.
It's not. It's shit. And the time's come for Batman R.I.P. and be out for the shit that it is.
But it was written by Grant Morrison, who wrote, Arkham Asylum, A Serious House on a Serious Earth, and that was good.
What made that comic good was not the writing. It was the art, which was the only thing that made the rest of his work worth a damn.
Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to dive into Batman R.I.P. Well, we're greeted on the first page with Batman and Robin running across the rooftops and Batman shouting so loud that they add color to the lettering.
You're wrong! Batman and Robin will never die!
Why would he say that? What would ever possess him to just yell that out at the top of his lungs?
What, you think something's out of character with Batman yelling random crap at the top of his lungs? Oh, you poor bastard, Manduk. You haven't seen anything yet.
Next we flash back to 6 months earlier. To a Victorian city, it seems. What the hell? The caption says it's 6 months earlier, but it shows a horse-drawn carriage, what looks to be gas lanterns, and people dressed in clothes from the last century. They just showed us Gotham, and it looks so normal, so where and when is this?
Maybe it's supposed to be England, and the only reference the artist had was the importance of being earnest.
Let's just keep going. The next page shows us a rotund dwarf murdering someone, and then evil Quasimodo walks through the door and says, "I just killed a man on your doorstep. If your reach is as long as you say, that should be no problem, eh?" That seems a bit stupid.
Oh, it gets better. The guy he's talking to responds, "The dead man's medical files are already being edited to include documented history of paranoid schizophrenia. Monsieur le Boss. A suicide note he left for his disabled wife is being composed and will be secreted upon his person. Eyewitnesses will be bribed or killed. The widow ruined. We are operatives of the highest level." Okay, before we go on, let's talk about what just happened. Someone shows up in the Black Glove's house. That's a group of evil nobodies that is going to take down the entire Bat family in this comic, by the way. In order to be invited into a super secret little group. Then, completely at random, mind you, this guy decides to murder someone. And the response to that random killing by the leader of said super powerful and super secret group is that it's fine, and everything is already being swept under the rug. In the words of the great Noah Antweiler, there is suspension of disbelief, then there is insulting my fucking intelligence! This just happened, and totally at random. How in the fuck do you even know who this guy is? Does Hurt just know the identity of every jackoff who just happens to be walking the street? Did you write up this suicide note during which I can only guess to be the 4 seconds it took for a hunchback to stab the guy, then teleport somehow to hand some police officer outside you bribe just in case this situation it would ever happen? Also note, this is in DC Universe. What the fuck was the plan at the Martian Manhunters if Tana was across the street? I'm pretty sure that all your bribes and threats would have done in that case would have gotten you a world-class ass-kicking. Also, all of this shit right here happens by page 3! Dear God, the stupid piles up quickly in this comic.
Let's just keep going, or we're never going to be done with this.
The guy who looks like a more generic Sebastian Shaw continues talking and says, "Believe me, everything you've heard of the Black Glove is true. Call me Dr. Hurt. Come, take your seats at the Danse Macabre."
And these will be the bad guys for this story, huh? Okay, let's start from the left. We have an albino Greek guy, a Big Daddy from BioShock, an undersized Bane, a mime,
Yep, then we got Dr. Hurt, Lady Gaga, Hans from the Troll Hunter!
You like Troll Hunter?
Yeah. That movie's awesome!
Moving on and going back to the comic, we leave the Black Glove and go back to Gotham, where an idiot with a paper bird mask has just kidnapped a family of 3. Then, on the next page, as the police chase after the idiot, he's sprouting nonsense about seeing all his heroes once he's sent to Arkham. But then finally we see... the Batmobile?
Lame!
Yeah, that's not awesome enough to be the Batmobile. Hell, I'd take the neon-covered piece of crack from the Schumacher films over this shit.
Then in the Batmobile, we have Batman and Robin. Tim Drake Robin, not Dick Grayson or Jason Todd. It's Robin.
Okay, I'm impressed. Thumbs up. New Batmobile. Well, now we know that Tim has boring taste in cars.
I don't know. It's not how I saw it when I first had the idea. Wow, it sounds like he's ashamed of it. The Batmobile begins knocking the kidnapper's car out of commission while Batman and Robin casually continue their conversation. You and Alfred asked me to take it easy. I'm taking it easy. The car's doing all the heavy lifting. Even the CD changer's 10 times smarter than the moron driving Lincoln. I could have been following up my leads on the Black Glove. Next, the Batmobile drives between the crazy fleeing criminal's car and a random homeless man. Then Batman and Robin jump out, give the homeless man a small fortune from the glove compartment, then take the crazy bastard in.
That seems kind of irresponsible, doesn't it? Won't the homeless man just spend all that money on smack?
Moving on! Next we move to Wayne Manor.
I mean, can you believe that? Seems like the only criminals left in Gotham are these stupid homemade guys the cops can take care of.
It's an American Idol era supercrime, Master Tim. Every Tom, Dick, or Harry with a makeup box and rampant Tourette's fancies himself the next Joker. Really weird to hear Alfred talking about American Idol.
And while that conversation's happening, Bruce walks to his room, stripping as he does until he reaches the bedroom. And immediately begins macking on a woman who was just standing there waiting for him. You know, I'm not questioning that Batman would have a hot woman just waiting in his bedroom for him to make sweet love to him once he gets home, but given that she seems to know who he's Batman, who is she?
She's Jezebel Jet. She was introduced in an earlier Morrison Batman comic. Basically, she is a really rich former supermodel who runs a country. And Bruce fell in love with her and told her his identity. While Bruce is upstairs laying some serious pipe, we cut back to Alfred and Tim walking into the Batcave.
Has he been like this before? I mean, have other girls known about Batman?
I believe there have been one or two. Miss St. Cloud, Miss Bordeaux. They've tended to be honorable and very discreet young ladies by and large. I watch them go through cycles. Try not to worry so much, Master Tim.
Then we go back to the comic where Tim and Alfred continue to talk about some kind of intense meditation Bruce did recently that could have driven him insane. You know, the sort of thing that comic book explanation boxes could be awesome for. And Tim wonders if Bruce's head is really okay after going through something like that.
The goal is a peak meditative experience in the Dogen tradition of Tibetan Buddhism. Nothing less, as I understand it, than a complete rehearsal while living of the experience of death. Master Bruce has a very clear idea of human perfection, towards which he constantly strives, you understand. The absolute physical mastery of the top martial artists, gymnasts, or yogins, the locals, forensic scientists, and of course detectives. His mind is like no other. I have grave doubts either of us will ever truly comprehend its decisions, but we must never underestimate his strength and resilience.
Now remember to pray thrice daily to the great and powerful Wayne. Remember not to question the important commandments that issue from his vast and unknoble mind, and always take heed not to blaspheme his great name.
Bruce Wayne loves me, this I know, for the comic tells me so. You know him better than me, Alfred. Now don't get us wrong. Both Troll and I know and respect the awesomeness of Batman. But Alfred is one of those humanizing aspects of the character. The one who reminds Bruce that if he doesn't eat and stitch up his wounds, he's going to die. And the one who reminds him that he can be wrong. So hearing Alfred talk like this is just weird. On the next page, Tim asks Alfred if Bruce has done a paternity test on Damien yet, to which Alfred roundaboutly answers yes, leading Tim to saying, "The son of Satan is my brother?"
Unfortunately, Tim, that's a no. The Son of Satan is a much cooler comic character than Damien.
The comic moves on to a cemetery with Bruce leaving flowers at his parents' grave, and Jezebel being there with him. "Bruce, they would be so proud of you if they could see what you've done. How many lives you've changed."
I hope so.
"What happens when you finally won? When they're avenged at last? Will you know?"
Instead of trying to answer a question like that, the comic just shows the two of them walking back, with Jezebel and Bruce mentioning that he's on to something big. As they walk, Jezebel says she might get an invitation out of a black envelope and says,
"I thought this would appeal to your dark side, and that was before I even knew. The black glove extends an invitation to Miss Jezebel Jet and Mr. Bruce Wayne. The theme of the season? Danse Macabre."
Dun dun dun! Cut to what I assume to be outside of Arkham Asylum. It's kind of hard to tell because, well, there's no sign of the building, there's no caption box to tell us where we are, and every artist draws the place differently. Well, the doors of the asylum for the criminally insane are wide open and blood is covering the stairs, walls, doors, and even the ceiling inside. Which leads me to believe this is a Tuesday. We then move to inside Arkham, where everything seems to be in black and white except for the blood smeared everywhere. Dead bodies are thrown about, and on a TV a news anchor tries to report, while laughing himself to death, about which is raging across the continent, killing millions as the Joker is seen looking on.
Well, it's like I always say. The comedy's in the timing.
It seems it hasn't. Follow me on this. The Joker looks down at the ground and sees blood splatter in a tiny little panel. Then moves to another panel which shows what looks like a Rorschach test that seems similar to the blood splatter that the Joker was looking at a second ago. Then it shows a little guy in a pair of glasses and a white lab coat holding a Rorschach card. You don't see anything. Nothing at all.
Another pretty flower.
I see. If you insist on being uncooperative, perhaps we should try a fresh approach.
The panel is black, with two long orange rectangles next to each other. Given what's said in the word balloons, I'm guessing this is to represent the power going out, but I'm not really positive who's talking here. "In the 15 seconds before restoration of power, I introduce myself, monsieur. My nom de crime is Le Boss. I'm here on behalf of the Black Glove to invite you, the Master, to the Batman's Dance of Death. We'll be in touch." Finally, we leave off with the Joker smiling wickedly, covered in blood for some reason, saying, "Another pretty flower." Well, it's not that bad so far.
If any of you are confused in the story so far, don't worry. It's only going to get worse.
Well, I guess we'll see you guys next time when we review part 2 of Batman R.I.P.